Let's look at NASDAQ. What? Since when did I have this? Off the weekly. Yep. The pound is falling. Took a big shit. So if this 4 hour closes above, GU's flying. If it respects this area here, makes a support, it's gonna go up to retest this high over here and fill the wick. Gold is bearish. Wow, took a dump. Let's look at the US election results. Okay, Trump, let's go. I think, I don't know, man. Trump might win. There's still hope. There is still hope. 145. Let's look at some YouTube channel. Elections.
People on Instagram are making huge money from their posts, and it seems to be a big secret that most normal people.
He is a marketer, and you have to make sure that anything you negotiate or any agreements you come to have you reach. So it's very important to know that about him. But it's you know, every day there's another tweet from him, and that may mean another trade dispute or another trade resolution. So that you just got to be calm and carry on with the UK.
You served 7 years in Washington as the ambassador. You worked with Joe Biden, who was vice president under former President Obama at the time. So you got to know Joe Biden. Just as a contrast to President Trump, of course, we don't know who's going to win tonight, but what is Joe Biden like to work with? What do you think he might do for the relationship with Canada?
Who cares?
Well, first of all, we work with him on the Ebola crisis. One of his chief of staffs, I think, was worked with Canada and many other countries around the world to try to share knowledge and share ideas on dealing with the Ebola situation. I think his first priority would be COVID-19, and therefore I do believe there will be more sharing of the knowledge we have on either side of the border, the science we have on either side of the border. We may have a supply chain resolution where we rely more on Canada, United States, and Mexico for required and essential medical supplies rather than rely on other countries. I dealt with him on Buy America. He was very close, and he remains very close to the hard hats in the United States. Canada was the only country to get a waiver under the Recovery Act when Buy America was placed in it. And we worked with the Vice President's office and the Vice President with Nancy Pelosi to get a waiver. Why did we get a waiver? It wasn't because we were charming. It was because the steel workers in Pennsylvania had a lot of members in Canada that were steel workers, and they did not want to lose jobs on either side of the border because of Buy America. So they were very helpful in Canada in getting a waiver, and Vice President Biden was very helpful in getting that. And finally, we'll have a relationship on energy and the environment, and certainly there's lots of risks in that regard and lots of opportunities.
Yeah, lots of risks and opportunities. And I'm curious about, you know, both countries have been enduring this pandemic, of course, which have, you know, caused huge economic hits for individuals and governments and companies. And Joe Biden is, in many ways, just as protectionist as Donald Trump. And do you think that really there'll be a substantive difference as the United States tries to recover from the pandemic economically between a President Trump and a President Biden?
Well, I think that President Biden, if he's elected, and that's a big if,
Ooh, Trump is winning, man.
that is still going on. And in particular, he's going to express confidence with what's happening in those 3 states. We were just talking about one of them, Pennsylvania, Michigan and Wisconsin. Confidence that they will have the votes in those 3 states. But of course, it will take some time before the counting is done in those 3 states, and it will be tomorrow and beyond before we get the results. But they are still confident, even though there hasn't been that knockout victory that so many people expected, that landslide victory in somewhere like Georgia. They believe with those 3 states and what's happening in Arizona as well, which would be a state that they flip, they believe that this is still within reach for Joe Biden, even though there has been something of a flat mood, certainly here tonight. I mean, it's hard to judge when it's a drive-in rally.
Greg, I'm just going to cut you off for a moment or two. We'll be back with you in a moment. Sorry, Greg, because Florida, the crucial state of Florida. I think people had worked it out already, given the scenes of celebration we've seen amongst the Republicans there. But you cannot project that Donald Trump will win Florida, and quite comfortably, given how narrow Florida normally is. That's a bigger margin if it stays that way. Still 4% of the vote to count. If it stays that way, that's a bigger margin than he won by in 2016 against Hillary Clinton. 51.2% for Donald Trump, 47.8% for Joe Biden there, 5.2 million or so for Joe Biden, 5.6 for Donald Trump. And just putting it into with me here, and of course reported extensively and travelled extensively in Florida over the years and during the course of this campaign, it seems a long time ago now that the Democrats had some pretty solid hopes there, didn't they?
They did have some solid hopes. You know, they thought that a changed electorate was going to potentially deliver big leads. I mean, they were very, very reticent to use the landslide word, but they would have hoped, I think, at this stage to have some kind of major reversal of fortunes. They haven't yet got that, but let's see where Arizona takes us. You know, I've been to Florida a lot. I think what is interesting, it's quite mixed really. We looked at the elderly vote. Places like Sumter County, home to the Villagers, the largest retirement community in the United States, where a lot of people ride golf carts, and there were signs for the first time ever of, you know, lots of Democrat golf carts, not your typical Trumpian Republican ones. But that's small numbers. You know, we're not talking about massive changes here, which is kind of what Joe Biden needed to push him over the edge in Florida.
An increased turnout there as well. And I mean, I'm just doing maths in my head. So I said there, I think by recall, Hillary Clinton lost by just over 1%. That was 112,000 votes. And look at those vote totals there. Well, Donald Trump increased.
And you know why? He got an absolute shellacking in places like Miami-Dade, Joe Biden. He hasn't been able to expand in the way that Hillary Clinton was successful with Latino voters there. That hasn't transpired with him. And actually, thinking back to my travels just sort of 3 weeks ago, we went to Kissimmee in Florida, and we were speaking to Puerto Rican voters because we were told by the Biden campaign that that's where they were hoping to achieve success. And of about 20 people I spoke to there, a lot of them seemed a little lukewarm about Joe Biden. I'm
hearing that Joe Biden is appearing. Let's listen into former Vice President Joe Biden.
Sleepy Joe.
Good evening. Your patience is commendable. We knew this was going to go long, but who knew we were going to go into maybe tomorrow morning, maybe even longer.
Anyways, guys, I'm just gonna head out.